This video is an overview of the Unit 2 Comparative Research Essay assignment. So before I begin going over the essay, the first thing I want to remind you is that you will need to go to your grades and check your feedback on the Unit 2 Comparative Research Essay Planner. There will be comments and feedback on that assignment that you will then incorporate as you write the essay. So the planner is going to help you write this essay, and then you also want to think about the comments that I made as well. So for the essay, this is going to be a 4 to 6 page essay where you're comparing the perspectives of two authors on the chosen topic. This comparison will be based on the 2 questions or argument points that you developed in your brainstorming and planning assignments, and it's also going to include the synthesis question. Now keep in mind your authors could be in agreement, they could disagree, or it could be a little bit of both. So the syllabus objectives for this particular essay are to locate, retrieve, and evaluate data from sources needed for effective research writing, and to compose and revise research-based documents for diverse audiences and purposes. So your process, you continued your research on your topic and debatable questions, you found your 2 new articles, you've done your brainstorming assignment where you did your synthesis question, then you've done your graphic organizer, you've gotten your feedback with your grades, and you've looked at those comments. So now it's time to write your essay in APA format. And this is going to demonstrate your familiarity with the topic and its context, establishes how your research addresses and contributes to the debate, and position yourself in relation to the other researchers and theorists. Make sure you take a look at the essay rubric. This is a 200-point essay, and there's also a checklist you can use to revise your work. So the structure and content of this essay are as follows. In your introduction, this is going to address the significance of the issue. You're going to hook your readers by connecting to something they care about and explaining the controversy. And then you're going to end your introduction with your overarching synthesis question that connect the 2 new articles together. The second paragraph is going to be your background paragraph, and this is where you're going to introduce your 2 articles. You're not writing a whole summary like you did in Unit 1. You are just introducing the authors, the title, and the purpose of each article. And basically, what do we need to know to help us to understand the upcoming points? Also, if there are any key concepts or vocabulary that needs to be defined, this is where you're going to want to do that. Basically, you're setting the stage so that we can understand the perspectives you're comparing in the next couple of paragraphs. So now it's time to compare the perspectives. So on your brainstorming assignment, you had smaller questions that both authors answered. So now you're going to be discussing those. Now remember, on your planner, you gave us the question, you identified the textual evidence, and then of course the tie-in. The tie-in is where you are making sense of what these authors are saying. You're explaining their agreement, you're explaining their disagreement. You got to make sure that you have that out. So when it says discussion, that's the tie-in portion on your planner. So you're going to discuss argument point number 1 and argument point number 2. Okay, so that'll be a paragraph for each of those. Then the next paragraph is where you are going to be positioning yourself into this debate or into this controversies. So how do these articles contribute to your understanding of the issue? Have your thoughts on this issue changed? And it doesn't necessarily have to be change as in like you've changed to the other side of the issue, but it could just be your thoughts have evolved and now you're understanding this issue at a much deeper level, which is part of the point of this. So how have the articles influenced your thinking? What connections can you make to your own personal life or to people in your life? So you're not just repeating what the author said. This is about your view on the topic based on what you've learned, but also your own experiences. So you're going to be using the first person I in this particular paragraph, whereas the rest of the paragraphs will be in third person. Then you'll do your concluding paragraph to bring closure to the essay and leave the reader with kind of your final thoughts at this point in time on your topic. So this needs to be 4 to 6 pages in length, and keep in mind, it does not require the or excuse me, the 4 to 6 pages does not include the title page or the references page. So the front and back matter. Front matter would be your title page, back matter would be your references page. Keep in mind, APA does have spacing and font requirements, and then of course in-text citations to document all of your textual evidence that you'll be using. You may have textual evidence in terms of key concepts to be defined. You'll definitely have textual evidence where you're comparing the perspectives, so you'll have your in-text citations. You'll have matching references page. You should have headings throughout your paper, and of course a title page. And your headings are just going to be what you see right here, other than introduction. We know the first header of any APA style paper is the title of the paper. So you won't have introductory paragraph as a title, or excuse me, as a heading. It will be the title itself. But background, comparing perspectives, exploratory synthesis, conclusion, all of those headers will be right in your paper. So keep in mind, third person for every section except for the exploratory synthesis paragraph. That is going to be in the first person point of view, and you always want to avoid the second person you, we, or us. Even though we or us is technically first person, we don't want to use the first person plural in this essay. When you're explaining your point of view, this is always going to just be first person singular. So that's an overview of the essay itself. But given all of the background steps that we've already completed in this unit, this paper should be fairly straightforward to write. Just make sure that you have checked your feedback on your planner, because that is where you are physically planning out your essay. And then, of course, I have provided you with feedback if I saw anything where maybe I needed a little more information or things needed to be explained a little bit more clearly. So make sure you have checked your feedback on your graphic organizer before you start typing your paper. Please let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.